rivals, welcome to Bax Attacks. Today we're going to look at the results of the full moon sacrifice event, and boy was I happy this morning to wake up and see this. We were able to earn a bronze soldier statue, which was awarded to the top 1100 on the leaderboard for the number of frost fangs. It actually took me a minute to see how to find and place the statue, and you have to go to the quests and look for the foundation achievement, where you will get a plinth, which is the platform on which you place the statue. So that will show up then in your village. Click on the completed symbol and you get to select which statue to put on there in case you have multiple. It's my first, and who knows, maybe my only one. But it's looking pretty spiffy. It was not at all easy to win the statue and get so many fangs. I ended up with 3,061 fangs, which got rank number 917, comfortably below the 1100 mark. And if you look at the top, about 20,000 to get up near the top. 3 people tied for 10th. That's really interesting. They had the exact same number at 18,000, and then a pretty big gap down to 14,000 and 11,000 for those who were at the top of the next level. The question, of course, is what did it take to get those number of fangs? What did it take to get even 3,000 fangs? So let's look at that for a second. In order to get the gold statue, then you needed about 18,000 fangs. Silver required about 8,500, just below 3,000 for a bronze statue, and 1,700 to get some kind of rings and gold as a reward. Now, in this event, I didn't really participate too strongly in it on the first day. I just had too many other things I had to do, but I saw that it might be possible if I pushed hard to go for it. And so I spent 3 out of the 4 days in the event going for the fangs. If I knew it was possible earlier, I would have started earlier. And so because I wasn't able to attack all the time, every hour or 40, I ended up spending some diamonds on the event, and as I think back over it, I think it was about $10 worth. So certainly not a large investment, and had I started on day 1 and been more active there, I would not have had to spend any diamonds on that. It really was an event that was all about the boosts though, so there was no way around that. As a one-time event where you can get rid of those hordes of boosts that most of us had, that didn't cost anything as well. And I have another kingdom mate, his name is Meower, and he was able to get the bronze statue very comfortably. He finished around 300 or 400 in rank, I think, and he didn't spend a single diamond on the event, but he's a highly active player. Now, I'm wondering, of course, what did it take to get the silver and the gold statues? There's been a lot of people who like this event, others are calling it pay to win, so let's look at the math for that. Alright, to earn a bronze statue, you had to get about 2,800 fangs by the end of the event, and at 20 fangs per attack, that's using a 16 bonus boost, 1 for the wind, 3 for the ice ancient. That's 140 attacks over a 4-day period. That's 35 attacks a day, or 7 sets of battle stones. Basically, that should be achievable by anyone who's highly active. The silver statue required 8,500 fangs to win, and at 20 fangs per attack, that's 425 attacks over a 4-day period. 105 attacks a day, or 21 sets. If you're playing over about 15 hours and just regenerating the stones naturally, that's 9 sets, so you'll need to purchase about 12 with diamonds. That's 240 battle stones. You can probably have the 425 boosts in stock, so we won't charge for those, so that's about $40 to earn a silver statue. Finally, what did it take for those top players to get the coveted gold statue? Well, that required about 18,000 fangs. I'm sure they were getting 20 per attack. That's 900 attacks over a 4-day period, about 45 sets of battle stones per day. If you're going for 15 hours a day, that's 9 sets, so you're short 36 sets per day. So over the event, you'll need to buy about 860 or so of battle stones. Probably need about, let's just ballpark it at 100 boosts. If you use 800 of your own, that's $150 of stones, another 150 in boosts for $300 total. Now these are very, very rough numbers, but I think it's fair to conclude that to get gold and silver, especially the gold, you definitely had to pay some. Really, the amount needed for silver wasn't crazy expensive for someone very excited about the event, and it was definitely possible to get the bronze statue without paying a dime. I know that for a fact because I have a kingdom member who did that, and the math backs that up. You do have to be very active to get any of these statues, but really that's kind of by design. What I will also note is that with the huge number of boosts needed in this event, and the fact that really a lot of us had a stockpile, but that's pretty pruned down by this point, if going forward they have the events centered on boosts like this again, it's going to be absolutely a pay-to-win event, even for the lowest statue. So I hope that this was a one-time thing to help us use our stockpiles. And just thinking about how the event went overall, honestly, I thought this was a pretty fun event. It was much better than the Force of Nature. In that event, to have any chance of winning, you had to get Yaguma, which was only available in a special chest, which you had to buy and pay cash for. You had to use an enormous amount of Nature Primus to level them up, so buy that. And there had to be an enormous activity level that could only be maintained by buying a lot of battle stones. In addition, the number of winners was very, very low. So they've done a great job in improving this event. If they can keep in mind that for an event to go well, there has to be accessible really for all the players to have fun with it. And so avoiding things that make it heavily pay to win and avoiding things like needing hundreds of boosts that you would have to buy is going to be important moving forward. What I liked about the event was that it had a very competitive and fun feel to it, and you didn't have to spend money or go completely nuts on activity to have a chance at winning some kind of statue. And I mentioned I really skipped out on the first day completely, did some light playing, but saw through that there would be a chance if I got active into it, and so I decided to give it a shot. So that was really a pretty good event. I hope we can see more ones like this, and maybe increase the prizes even more to have folks who aren't quite as active but still very active have a chance to at least win a bronze statue. All right, we're going to switch gears now. We had a recent release in the game today on September 29th, and what better way to show the effects of the event but by putting together a montage of Bax Fails. The first one here is going to be using Selonia. Just before taking this attack with Selonia, a Kingdom Mate had commented that he had lost 2 attacks, and that had not happened in ages with Selonia, and that he was putting her on the shelf. And when I saw this base, I'm thinking Stronghold 10, have Stronghold 9 troops. This really shouldn't be too difficult. The troop health redistribution is still there. The damage reduction is shortened a few seconds, but no big deal really. So I just proceeded as normal with that base, not thinking anything of it, and then before I know it, all my troops are dead. I send in the dragon there, say, okay, good, at least I have the stronghold with the dragon. But that's a pretty big curse tower, and down goes the dragon. So, first attack with Selonia post-update was a fail. A little bit surprising. From the spell description, I didn't think it would have that big an impact. So that is something we're going to want to experiment with more. Using the second spell may help with that, but we'll see. So there were changes also with Yalinati, in which the plague will, instead of spreading randomly and slowly, it will recast itself if one of the buildings dies during that period. And a change to Adhera, where the first what was a lightning bolt is now a lightning storm, hitting 2 random targets nearby. That seems like a nice addition. The magnetic pulse is unchanged and very nice, and the conductive blast is pretty good in that the buildings that fall from it now provide back 1 additional mana. So I thought it'd be worthwhile to try out Adhera, and we're going to put in a Mana Hunter here. We're going to try Yalinati first, actually, and the Mana Hunter is in so that I can have enough mana to get to that third spell for 15 mana. And notice here one of the features of the new update, little avatars of the ancients above the spell towers. Kind of interesting. Alright, so she's got the 3 spells here, but the one we're going to focus on is Plague, just to see if that's any different. And we'll come in this direction away from the freeze towers. There was a lightning one in front of us. Now my first thought here was, oh no, Skywatcher, the Mana Hunters are dead. But notice this, they're surviving and in good health. That is one of the other very significant changes to the Skywatcher. They do 1/3 damage compared to what they did before versus the Mana Hunters. So that's really kind of welcome. Alright, we'll lay down a plague here. See what it does. Now we'll need to, it'll recast when we kill any of the buildings. And the problem is, we're not killing any of the buildings. Wow. Troops melted. They had nothing to protect them, reduce their damage, or control that arc lightning tower. So that's a first fail. And a reminder that the plague won't save you if your troops are all dead. Alright, well let's try the same exact base with Adhira this time. That second spell will be useful at shutting down things, and the third spell is the Conductive Blast, is the one with the change. So we'll see if we can get that one working. The Lightning Storm is also different. It'll attack 2 different buildings, and random ones, nearby the ones that were shot, so that's kind of cool. I think we run into the same problem with the lightning tower getting hit by it though. Alright, so let's try to shut a few things down with the Magnetic Pulse. That will also put static electricity on them, so when we get to 15 mana, we'll be able to hit those buildings. And we're actually getting to 15 pretty nicely with the Mana Hunter, so let's drop that down and watch everything die in an amazing burst of lightning. Huh. Wow, that looked good. Now my Adhira is fair, to be fair, my Adhira is not very high level at all, and so the damage that it did was not that impressive. And again, without any damage mitigation, it didn't help us there. So we may have to come back to Adhira at higher levels, but that's just another Bax Fail today. Alright, surely we can beat this base with Selonia. She should be able to crush this with her transfusion power. This is a base that really would not have scared me all that much. The only issue might be the freeze tower, but we'll see. They're not on a Primus conduit, so in the past those wouldn't really cause any problem with using Selonia on this type of raid. And we're getting good mana with the Mana Hunter, so we can spam that transfusion more often, which we'll need to do because the duration is shorter. But so far so good. Our troops are past the lightning tower, they're in pretty reasonable health, and we're able to keep spamming the first spell. And here is where her weakness begins to show pretty strongly. The flash towers keep freezing the troops, and as they do, they're being hammered by the arrow launcher, the catapult, and without the damage reduction, they're taking more damage, and they're taking more time to get and killing things. So I look for more troops to cast that on, and there just aren't any. Now, I don't know what's going on here, but in the past, dragons were immune to spell towers, and here you can clearly see the dragon kind of freezing up briefly when attacking the stronghold here when it's being hit by the ice tower. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but we have yet another Bax Fail, this time with one of the top ancients, Selonia. So, feeling pretty bad on this base, so now I'm wondering, good grief, can I beat it with 4-Val? He got adjusted too with the duration of the Frost Shield decreased a little bit. Now maybe this isn't the right direction to be taking, and actually for 4-Val it would have been better to come in near the freeze towers instead of against them. But we'll just kind of compare apples to apples and go with the same approach here and see how 4-Val does as an ancient compared to the other 3 that we just used. So we're getting a good amount of the mana as well to spam the Frost Shield, that's good. As they come up close to the freeze tower, they just laugh at them with his freeze tower immunity, so that's still a plus. Alright, in fact we got enough mana we can throw in an extra ice elemental. Some more Frost Shield, everyone's in good shape, Stronghold's about to go down, and now we'll cast that Midwinter, see if that's long enough to be helpful. It's slightly shorter, but it's still got the job done. And with plenty of time left, this is going to be an epic victory of the 4-Val. So the tweak down did not hurt him as badly as it did Selonia. So let me know what you guys think on the full moon event. Thanks for watching.